Hey guys, Steve here from the Cook Family Homestead, and today was butchering day. We just butchered 57 chickens, and we raised, our original count we had 62, 5 ended up dying through the process, and so we had 57 that we butchered today. So one of the most common questions I get is, how much does it cost per chicken to raise a chicken? So it's a very good question, and it's something I researched before we got into raising chickens and butchering them. And so I'm going to break that down for you. So there's two answers to that question. The first one is, assuming you have waterers and feeders and all that stuff you need to raise them, how much does it cost us? Like when we go out right now and buy a batch of chickens, raise them, butchering them, put them in the freezer, how much does that cost per chicken? So I'm going to break it down for assuming you already have your waterers and feeders and all that stuff that you need to begin. And when we homeschool, you have our trusty whiteboard. So I'm going to break that down for you and show you how much it costs us to raise these 57, okay? So our initial cost is obviously purchasing the chickens, and that cost is $104 to purchase. We ordered 60 chickens, you always get a couple extra, so it costs for 62 chickens, or to order 60 chickens, it was $104. When they sent them to us, we had 62. $16 for your first bag of starter feed. That usually lasts you about a week or so, maybe a little bit over. Actually it was a little bit more than a week for 60. When we did our first video of 100 chickens, that bag lasted for 1 week. So if you're doing 100 or less, one bag is going to be good enough for you. And then for the whole process for 62 chickens, it cost we went through 800 pound bags of feed. Those are $19.25 a bag plus tax, so I'm just rounding it up to $20, and it was $160 for those 8 bags of feed. Then we ordered our shrink wrap bags to wrap the chickens once we butcher them. Now that was $45 for 100 bags, so we have 40 bags left over, 40 some bags left over. Tags, stickers that go on them, and the ties, so that was $45. I also went through for their bedding here. I went through 7 bales of hay, and I buy my hay from a local farmer here, and it's $2 a bale, so I went through $14 worth of hay. And then our original bedding, which was wood chips from Tractor Supply, that was $7 for a bale, which I still have half the bale left. So all that came to $346. Now, if we take that out, let me get my marker off here. We ended up with 57 chickens. That comes to, let's see if I can write here, $6.07 per chicken. Okay, so $6.07 per chicken for 57 chickens. Now if all 62 would have lived, it would have been about $5.50 per chicken, but since only 57 lived, that's what we got to go by. And it costs us $6 actual cost and 7 cents per chicken to raise them from beginning to end. Now, that is also assuming, like I said, assuming you would have all your stuff to feed them with. So let's look at a little bit different cost of what it would cost, and I'll also put those costs down in below as well, so you can see that. But let me show you a little different here. Some costs that you may, if you're just starting from scratch. Okay. Okay, easy guys. All right, so if you are just starting from scratch, these feeders here, and depending on what you get, if you're just getting like 25 chickens to start out, you would only need one of these feeders. So one of these feeders is $16 at our local feed mill. So if you're getting 2, obviously it's gonna be $32. But for us, you know, if you're, like I said, $16, you figure for a feeder. A 50 or 5 gallon waterer, here's our coop, we got to clean this out, is $29.99. Now I bought this one at our local feed mill, but they're about the same at like Tractor Supply. So this feeder here, 5 gallon water, was $29.99. Now, like I said, if you're going to go smaller, like in here I have a smaller, this is a 2 gallon waterer, and which does all these chickens. If you were just doing 20 chickens, you know, you could get away with that. That was $19.99 for this 2 gallon waterer. So depending on your cost. So those are things you have to assume also. If you're, like I said, you're starting from scratch, you just need the water as a feeder and the food. Those things are also you're going to have to take into account. And also if you need a pen and, you know, a building, all that stuff you're going to have to take in. But it's relatively cheap to raise your own chickens. So is it worth it raising your own chickens? To me, 100%. Because one is, I know they're being raised ethically, and you know, they have a lot of freedom. We let them roam outside and in a pen, obviously, but outside we know what we're feeding them. We know what our local feed mill, how they mix their feed, and it's all from local farmers. So those things to us make a huge difference. And the other thing that we really enjoy about it is actual raising them. We enjoy raising them. The kids love it. It's nice to have all of our kids involved, as you'll see and like watch some of our videos. We have lots of kids involved in the whole butchering process and the raising of the chickens. And there's just something about raising your own food, and it's cleaner. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's something about that when it's on your table and you're eating your own food that you've raised, it's great. So I hope that helps you. It's relatively inexpensive to raise the chickens. Now your time obviously is money as well, so you got to factor that in. When they're smaller, there's not a whole lot of upkeep other than cleaning the coops. Well, the last 4 weeks of raising the chicken, they are very messy. The first 4 weeks, they're not as messy, you know, they're smaller, but man, the last 4 weeks, they are a mess. So there's constant upkeep on keeping the coop clean, keeping the chickens clean, and all that. So I hope that helps you if you're getting into chickens. I would recommend it. You can watch some of our videos on how to butcher them, the ways we butcher them, and it's a great experience. So thank you for watching. God bless. Take care.